Good Monday morning. Welcome to the 13 News Now Plus Weather Desk. It's today's top weather headlines. I'm meteorologist Craig Moeller, happy to host today's edition of the Weather Desk. You know, I do this every Monday through Friday at 9 o'clock, where we get into top weather stories from across our region. And we here at 13 News Now, we serve Southeast Virginia and Northeast North Carolina. But I got to tell you now, with streaming and what we're doing here on the 13 News Now Plus, that allows us to not only serve Southeast Virginia, Northeast North Carolina, but the entire region, the country, and truly the world. We have folks even overseas checking out what's happening, and we take a look at some big weather headlines from around the world as well. So what about today's edition of the Weather Desk? Well, we got a weekend recap. We had some really rough weather down in North Carolina. Big music festival impacted by some severe weather, sent thousands of people scurrying for shelter. There's also some tornadic damage back across Texas. A lot of heavy rain for parts of the area. We'll recap the weekend, and then we're going to talk about the severe weather outlook for today and tomorrow. We've got a risk of severe storms here in Southeast Virginia and Northeast North Carolina. It's just a level 1 threat here, but other parts of the country really under the gun for some more strong storms. We're talking about large hail and potential tornadoes. We'll get into all of that. We're also going to take a look at tornado hotspots. Kind of a interesting breakdown state by state, how many tornadoes typically occur, and it kind of gives you a feel. You know about Tornado Alley, but it's actually been shifting a little bit. So you might be interested to see the numbers there. We're going to hear from Hunter Force with that story. And Hunter also looked in to the quietest hurricane seasons on record. You know, we always talk about what's average. I've got the Colorado State forecast for this upcoming season. We'll get into a little bit of that as well. But sometimes it's nice to know just how quiet it can be as well. So we'll take a look at that. Kind of an interesting story. Then we've got some spectacular volcano images and video that was released out around Kilauea in Hawaii. I took a look. Our producer said, Craig, have you seen this? We've got some more beautiful volcano pictures. We love to see them, but when you see these fountains of lava, it's just amazing. If you've got some time to stick around for that. And then Saudi Arabia hit with sandstorms. Incredible reduction in visibility, what they deal with over there when those sandstorms whip up. That's one of those international stories that we'll fill you in on as we go through this edition of the Weather Desk. Of course, I've got a lot more forecast information for Hampton Roads and looking ahead through the remainder of the week and breaking down our severe weather. So let's start off with a look at what's happening nationally. And I've talked about this before on the Weather Desk. I help support the St. Louis Cardinals with the operational forecast for their home games. On Saturday, they had the game postponed. They did a doubleheader to make it up with the Mets yesterday. But the reason for that, and the first thing I said when I had put out the forecast discussion to the stadium operations folks and the field crew managers, said, you know, there's this pesky area of low pressure spinning to the east of St. Louis over Kentucky. That was Saturday. You can see, as you look right now, that thing really hasn't gone anywhere. Now, at the time, it was drawing more moisture back, heavier rain into St. Louis. That's why the game was postponed, and they were able to get it in yesterday. That low pressure tracked a little farther to the east and then kind of been hanging out here anywhere from northern Kentucky into southern Indiana. That's been the main thrust of upper level energy. There's a frontal boundary that extends out, and this is a mature storm system. As we switch up the view here, we'll focus in and get into some storm reports. But this thing has been responsible for shaking things up all across the region. Now, this is the most recent storm reports. Let's take this full, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuttle back a little bit and show you reports that came in over the weekend from the southeast. So this takes you back in time, all right, to yesterday morning, and these were all reported from Saturday into Sunday. You can see there was a tornado down in Alabama. So, you know, that system there was a weak EF0 tornado, but it was embedded, spun up, did, winds to 75 miles an hour. So a little bit of punch with that. Another very weak tornado there in western South Carolina, another EF0 touchdown, gives you the locations there along the road. This was an official report from the National Weather Service, but that one actually impacted some neighborhoods. Now, as you can see, there were some reports of hail across parts parts of the region, but mostly it was winds that we had out ahead of that cold front, and that's what we're going to continue to watch for. Now, I want to bring you in a little closer to the Charlotte area. So as we take a closer look here, this is where there was a music festival, and you can see the winds associated. There were some reports of damage. There were trees down. There were some power outages reported. But I wanted to show you this report right here from Charlotte, because in Mecklenburg County, they're right there near the center city in Charlotte. They had peak wind gusts measured by a weather system there at Bank of America Stadium up to 46 miles per hour. So a lot of wind associated with that system. And these weekend storms caused issues for the Love and Life Music Festival down in the Charlotte area. Okay, heavy rain, thunder, and lightning forced thousands of people to evacuate and scramble for shelter in parking decks. It took about 2 hours for those storms to clear up, and people were right back out there enjoying it. The National Weather Service also confirmed 2 tornadoes in Burnett County, Texas. This was Thursday's tornado from last week, left a path of destruction more than 3 miles long, according to the National Weather Service. The first tornado, it was an EF1, which touched down with peak winds. They were gusting up around 110 miles per hour, damaging multiple structures and injuring 1 person. This morning, we're hearing from residents who are dealing with the aftermath. Kelsey Sanchez at our sister station in Texas, KVUE, KView, has the details.
People who live in the area are picking up the pieces and getting just a good look at how much damage this tornado caused. They tell me it's not something you could ever really prepare for, and they just hope they don't have to go through it again.
And it was just horrifying.
Karen Peck is taking in the damage of her home.
All right, hold.
A tree fell on their roof, and Thursday her husband used his truck to pull it out.
Horrifying, horrifying. Never heard anything like it. And all through the night while the rain was coming and the hail, it just was.
Peck says they were outside when they saw items flying and ran inside to take cover.
And it just kept going. It seemed like it was going forever, forever. And then it kind of, slowed down a little bit, and then it just picked back up, and it just was terrible till midnight.
Peck is still shaken, but says everything damaged can be replaced.
Overwhelmed. But, we're alive, and I don't believe anybody around us lost their lives, so.
For Raymond Elmore, his ranch experienced lots of tree damage.
And if you've ever been in this area before, the trees were beautiful before this. So, and there's going to be a lot of cleanup.
He was also home when the twister hit.
And I looked at it pretty good from 700-800 yards, and that's too close. You could hear it, you could see it.
Elmore says he's as prepared as he can be and credits the volunteer firefighters and crews who came out to clear the roads.
It was very nice, but that's how a lot of country people are.
A community coming together in the scariest of times. Officials say the best thing you can do is just prepare as best you can and be weather aware. In Burnett County, I'm Kelsey Sanchez, KVUE News.
We'll take a look right now again at that area of low pressure spinning right here. I'll put the surface features on and we'll switch over to the radar. There is a thunderstorm warning, a brand new one that just came out. Let's take this full. I want to take a closer look at that warning. Some things are changing up with the local weather here in Southeast Virginia, and we are going to go into our weather impact alert for today as we now have a level 2 threat for severe weather in Hampton Roads, and I'll get into that in just a moment. But you can see north of Richmond, up around Ashland, again, that is a brand new severe thunderstorm warning that just came out. And I am doing this on the fly. We have a well-produced show, but what I love about the Weather Desk and this opportunity to stream, if things change, so do we. Just like that, we can pivot. And this is a brand new thunderstorm warning that just came out. So let's take this full again, and we're going to track this, get you some information on it. First of all, the details on this thunderstorm, and what we have, it's a thunderstorm warning that is out now, and this system is moving off to the northwest, and it's moving along at a pretty good little clip. Right now, it's moving northwest at 25 miles per hour. Again, the main threat here is going to be some damaging wind gusts. About 17,500, maybe 17,600 people under this warning, and this includes the counties or portions of the counties of Caroline, Hanover, Henrico, and King William. Cities of Ashland and Beaver Dam included in that. And this is going to run until 10 o'clock. So it's just outside the 13 News Now viewing area, but obviously this is something we are going to pay close attention to. As I mentioned, moving to the northwest at 25 miles per hour. So let's put the cone on this and show you how it's moving along in that general direction. Some of the communities in line for that severe thunderstorm warning. Ashland, obviously, right now it's just about on top of you. It's coming in right now. Gumtree, Oliver by 9:29 if it holds together. Goshen Crossroad. You can see Old Bandana, Beaver Dam, Childsburg, Byrne Pass, Arcadia, and Mount Pleasant, all those areas. Again, this is up just north of Richmond. So this is out of the 13 News Now viewing area, but as I'm going to show you here in just a moment, we did get an updated severe weather outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. So let's take a look at the new outlook right now for our local area. And as we do that, you can see we are shaded in yellow. Now, if one of my colleagues, and I think Evan Stewart may be watching this stream right now, he was talking with me earlier as we were broadcasting on 13 News Now Plus. If you're watching, Evan, and you wanted to send in an email to our newsroom and let them know, we have a way that we go about declaring a weather impact alert day. Since I'm in this stream now, I can't do that until after we're done. But we are going to have this weather impact alert, and that's because we are now upgraded from a level 1 to a level 2 threat. And you can see that extends down through Rocky Mount over to Ahoskie, Edenton, Northeast North Carolina, these areas. This is a brand new change with this newest outlook that just came out from the Storm Prediction Center. So you see there again, level 2 threat. This includes western parts of the area. And for Hampton Roads specifically, Norfolk, Portsmouth, you are under this level 2 threat for stronger storms. Western parts of Chesapeake, Suffolk, you can see that area. Isle of Wight, all of the peninsula and the middle peninsula under this as well. It looks like Matthews and then up to the northern neck, eastern shore, still under level 1, and most of Virginia Beach under level 1, along with coastal North Carolina. But we are going to see this increased threat, so we're going to continue to watch that. Now, you might be wondering, what are the types of threats? Do we have to worry about tornadoes today? Well, as you take a look here, the tornado potential does not exist, at least from the Storm Prediction Center. They don't have us at an increased risk of tornadoes. That said, we always keep a close eye to things. We are more likely to deal with potential strong winds with these storms, and there could be some hail as well. Again, these are mostly over the inland parts of our viewing area here in Southeast Virginia, Northeast North Carolina, but this does include the metro area, Norfolk and Portsmouth, as well as western Chesapeake. So Deep Creek, Western Branch, really all the way through Great Bridge, I would say you have that potential as well if we do get some of these stronger storms. All right, the next thing we're going to do is expand the view and go back to our severe weather outlook. This really just caught my eye, so we just kind of went sideways there a little bit with our weather desk, but I did want to really make sure folks were aware of that. Back across Texas, we've got a level 3. So while we have level 2, what we term as a slight risk for severe weather, back across west central Texas, they have that 3rd level, which is we call enhanced level. We expect numerous severe storms here over that part of Texas, and the tornado outlook is greater there as well. Western and central parts of Texas need to be very, very mindful. Tornadoes could spin up there. That's that 2nd level there for a tornadic risk. There's also a little elevated risk of tornadoes down in Florida. The rest of the country in pretty good shape today. Now, looking at the strong wind potential, winds in excess of 75 miles per hour in this hashtagged area again. Western Texas, this is really the bullseye for the stronger storms. We do have the potential for some damaging wind gusts, and we could see a little bit of that down around Florida as well. As far as large hail goes, this area, West Texas, again, outlook with these hashtags indicating potential 2 inches or greater diameter hail with those cells. So we're going to watch that. Now let's look ahead to tomorrow, and Hampton Roads not under any outlook for tomorrow. Still, though, Texas, much of Texas under a level 2 threat. This is central and now eastern Texas, including the Houston area all the way up through Dallas. So some large cities in Texas need to be mindful that you could see scattered severe storms tomorrow. This does include that elevated risk of tornadoes, so that could be a big issue from Dallas on southward, and again, a good section there of Texas and much of Louisiana under that first level with a 2% chance of a tornado anywhere within 25 miles of a given point in that yellow. That's the look ahead with the severe weather for tomorrow. This is for Tuesday. All right, as far as the strong wind potential, they're going to deal with that, and large hail again, 2 inches or greater in diameter, Houston area on west of that. That's the outlook there, and I really did want to make sure everybody was up to date on that. All right, so you know that they've got the severe weather there, and tornadoes a big issue. Texas is at the top of the list when it comes to tornado risk areas, especially around this time of year. Let's send it over to meteorologist Hunter Forst with the number of tornadoes we usually see across the United States and where they're most common.
Certain states are more prone to tornadoes than others, primarily due to their geographical location and climate. The states that see the most tornado activity is commonly referred to as Tornado Alley. This region includes parts of Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, and South Dakota, which typically see the most tornadoes in the month of May. In addition to Tornado Alley, there's also Dixie Alley. That includes states like Alabama and Mississippi. This area of the country typically sees the most tornadoes in the month of April. Now, every state in the U.S. has recorded a tornado, but here are the top 5 states that see the most on average per year. Ranked at number 1, we have Texas with an average of 124, Kansas with 87, Oklahoma with 66, Mississippi with 64, and not far behind, Alabama with 63. As for us here in Virginia, we average at about 21 tornadoes per year. For the states that rarely have any tornado reports, well, that would include places like Alaska, Hawaii, and Rhode Island. Overall, while tornadoes can occur anywhere in the U.S., understanding the regions most affected helps in preparedness and safety measures during tornado season. For 13 News Now, I'm meteorologist Hunter Forst.
All right, Hunter, great information there. We will continue to see what we get. Again, that potential greatest for tornadoes down across Texas, which would be in line. They do see a lot of them. All right, I wanted to also show the flood potential, what we are looking at across parts of Texas. Again, this is through Tuesday morning. We do have this slight risk, a level 2 threat for excessive rainfall. So that's going to be an issue potentially through central Texas. Also parts of Arizona, you can see back into extreme eastern and southeastern California, southern parts of Nevada around Vegas. They could have some excessive rain and some potentially heavy rain up in the northeast U.S. for New York City, Connecticut, parts of New York State, northeast Pennsylvania, and northern New Jersey. They have the potential. In fact, we can zoom in and take a little closer look at that area just to give you some more detail. That does include a Long Island and Manhattan. You can see New York City under that risk for elevated amounts of rain, excessive rainfall, runoff, and flooding. So plenty to keep a close eye to there. All right, we're going to take a look at the Futurecast here. This is based on the Euro. We'll take this full. I'm going to walk over to the monitor wall here and talk some more about our chances for rain. We obviously have the chances for showers and stronger storms right here in Hampton Roads, and that rain excessive potentially up for the northeast U.S. You also take a look at what's going on down across Texas. There you go, that eruption of storms, and then it'll pull off to the east and to the northeast as we go into Tuesday. And by Tuesday evening, you're looking at heavy rain east Texas. That's why the threat goes from here today to there tomorrow. But you see it kind of moving eastward. Some snow back over the Rockies, more rain across parts of New Mexico and Arizona. And these areas could use some rain. Again, they're still very dry with considerable, some areas under extreme drought, other areas considerable drought. There's some desperate folks there that could use some heavy rain in this area. You look off to the northeast, again, the rain continues later Tuesday. We should be in good shape Tuesday into Wednesday here in Hampton Roads. I do expect some drier conditions, and we'll take a closer look at a more narrowly focused futurecast coming up for our area in a moment. More rain across parts of Kansas and Oklahoma, rain across the deep south and into Florida potentially as we go Wednesday and into Thursday. Thursday, the southeast U.S. deals with wet weather. We should still be good early Thursday, but by Thursday evening, isolated showers are possible and some more wet weather here developing on Friday. Right now, our weekend is looking pretty good. And I just wanted to show you the national outlook as we got into the Euro. If you're going to be back across the central U.S. this weekend, it looks awesome from Chicago to St. Louis, Minneapolis down through Dallas. Some nice weather there Saturday and Sunday looking pretty good as well. All right, that's a look at what's going on with the outlook here. We're going to switch gears and talk to you about the upcoming hurricane season. And, you know, a lot of times we spend all this time talking about what averages or what the outlooks are. These are the averages from 1991 to 2020. 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. But ahead of the hurricane season, it's also important to, stay alert to anything that could come our way. Not every hurricane season is terrible. Hunter Forst explains why, even if it is a quiet season, you should still keep an eye on the tropics and prepare for possible impacts.
On average, we see about 14 named storms during hurricane season, with 7 hurricanes and 3 major hurricanes. But back in 1983, this season came nowhere near the average, and in fact, only had 4 named storms that year. The first named storm that formed was in August and was the only major hurricane of the season, Alicia. Then there were 2 hurricanes, Barry and Chantel, and 1 tropical storm, Dean. But just because this season was quiet doesn't mean it came and went without a trace. A prime example for the saying, "it only takes one," certainly applies for the 1983 hurricane season. Hurricane Alicia went from a tropical depression in the northern Gulf of Mexico to a landfalling Category 3 hurricane near Galveston, Texas, and had max sustained winds of 115 miles per hour. There was storm surge across portions of the Texas coast from 8 to 12 feet and left nearly $3 billion in damage. So even though this was a rare and quiet season, there were still major impacts, and is another reason why you should always keep an eye on the tropics during hurricane season. For 13 News Now, I'm meteorologist Hunter Forst.
So true, Hunter. We always say that, even if we have a very quiet hurricane season or relatively calm and the numbers are low, it only takes one to mess up and make it the worst hurricane season on record for your area if you get directly hit. All right, you get that. Here's the Colorado State outlook for this year. 17 named storms, 9 hurricanes, 4 major hurricanes. We'll be getting more updates from NOAA and some other forecasters, and we'll be passing those along here on the Weather Desk. Out on the water today, here locally on the bay and on the ocean, it's not too bad away from the storms. We had some really heavy storms just south of Buxton and Hatteras. Incredible amounts of lightning, and by radar estimates, I had pegged one area offshore where by radar rainfall estimate, it was going close to 10 inches of rain. So tremendously heavy stuff farther offshore. For our local waters east of Virginia Beach, southeast winds about 5 to 15, knots gusting to 20, seas 2 to 3 feet. And on the bay, southeast winds 5 to 15, gusting to 20, and the waves there 1 to 2 feet. We've got a low tide coming up just before 11 and the high tide at Sewell's Point just after 5 o'clock. All right, I do want to let you know things are quiet right now in the Gulf of Mexico, across the Caribbean. It's still early in the season, but sometimes we do get some tropical development in May. So it's certainly something that we do check on, even though we're not officially into the start of the hurricane season yet. All right, it is time to take you out to Hawaii. Yes, love it, Hawaii. And specifically, we're going to check in on Kilauea. Here you go. We've got some great time-lapse video to share with you from Kilauea volcano erupting in Hawaii. How cool is that? Wow, this activity is something to see. Scientists haven't seen some of this in nearly 40 years. It's incredible. This video is showing lava spewing up 330 feet into the air on Friday. The U.S. Geological Survey now reporting the volcano is expected to erupt again or have some sort of activity in the next 2 to 4 days, a pattern they say they haven't seen since 1986. Isn't that incredible? Man, I could just watch the volcano time lapse and the eruption video. Just keep watching it. It's so cool. All right, we're going to take you from Hawaii all the way over to Saudi Arabia. I told you we do get into some international stories. And while things look okay here as we switch over the base maps to give you some more clear looks at where you see some clouds down to the south, much of Saudi Arabia now in better shape. They were dealing with a powerful sandstorm that hit Saudi Arabia and the capital there yesterday. Thick clouds of dust swept through, reducing visibility and disrupting daily life in one of the kingdom's busiest cities, almost hiding its skylines. Now, alert systems warned residents that parts of the area would face active winds and near zero visibility, urging the public to monitor for alerts and follow safety guidelines. Motorists had to drive with high caution due to the hazardous conditions. See that sandstorm and visibility gone. It's incredible. All right, let's turn our attention back to Hampton Roads now. And the skies are mainly cloudy right now. We've seen at times rain and some heavier rain at that. It's currently a little bit drier right now around Norfolk, and skies are mostly cloudy at the airport, 68 degrees, wind south at 13 miles per hour. We've got a high UV index today. Despite the cloud cover out there, we should see some peaks of sunshine for a little bit, but that sets the stage. It's going to destabilize the atmosphere, and with an unstable atmosphere this afternoon, we do have the potential for more storms. Tree pollen is high, grass is moderate. I think the rain that we did get this morning knocked down the pollen in some areas, but we're still looking at high tree pollen, so I want you to be aware of that. All right, so this afternoon through this evening between 2 and 10, chances for more showers and storms. You need to have that rain gear and continue to monitor for more updates. You see, again, the rain expected to pop up again later this afternoon. We had rain earlier this morning. Things are quieter now, but we'll look for some more late afternoon and into the evening. After that, Tuesday looking good. Very minimal rain chances as we go through the day. Tomorrow we should enjoy more sunshine. You can see the rain kind of winding down. That warning that was off to the north of Richmond, again, kind of weakening that system right there as it's moving along, and we'll continue to watch for that. Now, as we look at the futurecast, you'll see the showers and storms developing this afternoon around 3 or 3:30. Some of these could be a little bit stronger, maybe not that bad, but watch what happens as we go 5:30, 6 o'clock. This is where we have potentially some heavier isolated storms. And this is why I believe the Storm Prediction Center went ahead and flipped us into that slight risk level 2. You can see by 8 or 8:30, we could see some severe storms pushing through. We'll likely see a watch going up late afternoon and into the evening. Once that moves out, we're in better shape tomorrow. We'll welcome more sunshine and a mix of a little bit of cloud cover. Temperatures still quite warm, upper 70s to near 80, maybe low 80s for some. I think our Wednesday looks really good as well. By Thursday, we'll start to see more chances for rain Thursday night and into Friday. This is a graph model projecting some significant amounts of rain potentially. If you get caught underneath some of these heavier downpours, you get one of those bigger storms coming through, you could quickly pick up a ½ an inch to 3/4 of an inch. And again, that's for today and tonight. So we'll be watching for that. Other models not nearly as bullish. In fact, the NAM, the GEM, the Euro really don't produce much, but you see the graph there and the GFS both producing quite a bit of rain. We'll see how it plays out. We've been in the mid to upper 60s all morning. Afternoon highs expected to really warm up now that the rain's faded away and has moved out. We may see a few peaks of sunshine, but if we do get that rapid jump in temperatures, upper 70s to near 80, we'll look for a few storms to set off late afternoon and then into the evening. Upper 70s for the peninsula, mid 70s for the middle peninsula, and then over to the eastern shore, low 70s here, mid to upper 70s at the Outer Banks, closer to 80, Elizabeth City, Edenton, and Hertford. Overnight tonight, 63, mostly to partly cloudy. Showers still a possibility, but that's going to wind down as we go past midnight tomorrow. Looking pretty good. Low risk of an afternoon shower, the high around 81. After that, we're going to find our temperatures staying near 80 on Wednesday. Evening showers Thursday, and then isolated showers on Friday. Lows temperatures down around 60, upper 50s there Friday morning and Saturday morning, and those afternoon highs only in the low 70s, so slightly below average as we finish out the work week. Right now, the weekend looks pretty good. We're back with partly sunny skies Saturday and a little warmer on Sunday. Want to remind you, you should stay in touch with the 13 News Now weather forecast. A great way to do that is by downloading our mobile app, scan this QR code, and you'll have access to all of our forecast information, our special coverage when we need to cut in, and of course, all of our radars as well. It's a great tool for you to have when you're on the go. I want to thank you for taking some time and joining me today from the Weather Desk. Again, we do this every Monday through Friday at 9 o'clock. This one was a little different. We had a lot of stuff going on and kind of went sideways with that warning there north of Richmond. Wanted to dive in because we have that freedom and flexibility right here, streaming to you live from 13 News Now. Have a great day and join me again tomorrow for the Weather Desk.